my beautiful book besties, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Liv and I'm so excited to chat about my November TBR with you. So much for stopping by and clicking on this video. I appreciate it so much. I'm so happy that you're here. I literally am in absolute disbelief that I am sitting here filming my November TBR. You guys, we have 2 months left of the year and it is getting down to the nitty-gritty. This TBR is definitely very straightforward. I know exactly what I want to read for the rest of the year, so I feel like this might be a little bit of a shorter TBR, but I was sitting down trying to figure out my TBR for today and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to figure out like my top 10 books that I want to read the rest of the year. So a few of my books are definitely trying to finish up series that I already am loving, already loved going through this year, but I may or may not have a couple holiday reads at the end of this video because around Thanksgiving is when I put up my tree. I'm ready for Christmas reads and I may even put up my tree earlier this year. We still have a little bit of Halloween up, but next time you see me, I will definitely be bringing on the Christmas. I'm so excited, but before we get ahead of ourselves, I thought I would do my November TBR for you. I feel like this time of year, I generally feel quite a bit of burnout, and I'm not gonna lie, I have been feeling that recently. I just want to sit down with a good book at the end of the day and just enjoy the coziest season ever. You'll probably be able to tell that my books kind of reflect that cozy vibe, but I will say my content will probably be slowing down as well. Yes, you will see a Christmas vlog for sure. You will see my favorite books that I've read so far this year for sure, but as far as November, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing. So I'm just here to share with you the top books that I really would love to read this month. So without further rambling, put on a comfy cozy sweater like I have, get yourselves a hot cup of tea or coffee, and let's just get straight into the books. First things first, you guys know I always love to talk about my Patreon book club read, and this book was kind of surprising but also not surprising that it was chosen because the cover is absolutely stunning. This is The Everlasting by Alexi Haro. I read 10,000 Doors of January probably 5 years ago, felt okay about it. I read Starling House and I really loved it. For me though, her books are the perfect combination of gothic and spooky, also somehow cozy, great character development, sometimes some sci-fi kind of elements or magical realism. This book is already giving off all of those vibes, so I'm just gonna read a little bit of it to you. Equal parts Arthinian send-up and time-traveling tragic romance. That right there had me. Sir Una Everlasting was history's greatest hero, a lost girl who would draw a sword from the heartwood and become a legend. The knight's epic feats were rivaled only by her tragic fate, a sacrifice that saved a queen and built an empire. Centuries later, Owen Mallory has dedicated his life to Una Everlasting, abandoning a promised scholarly career to defend his country. He comes home from war broken and weary until he finds a reason to live in the pages of a mysterious book. Sent back through time, the historian's task is to ensure that Sir Una meets her tragic fate, but instead, Owen falls in love with the complex woman behind the legend. He doesn't know how to watch her die or how many times he's done it before. To rewrite Una's legend, they'll have to rewrite history itself. I love a good time travel. I know not everybody loves that, but I have already been flipping through here and there's letters and articles, and this is a really short book. It's only 290-ish pages. I feel like this is going to be the perfect read to kick off November. I love a good fantasy, and if you're interested in joining us, you can definitely check out my Patreon below. Truly the only new release that is coming out in November that I knew I had to pick up, obviously, is Fallen City by Adrienne Young. I have loved everything that I've read from her, and this book definitely stands out to me because it is about mythology. It is a true fantasy, she said. Yes, there's a little bit of romance, but it's mainly more political, and honestly, I'm kind of going into this one blind. I love Adrienne Young so much. Her atmosphere is amazing. I'm seeing all these little snippets and hints she's giving us on her Instagram about it just being brutal and just crazy, and it's gonna be so much fun. I love a good romantasy, don't get me wrong, but I feel like this is going to be the book for me. I will literally pick up anything that she's written, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be a series or a duology. Real quick as well, I always like to talk about what I have going on Patreon, and in November we're taking it a little bit more chill because it's around the holidays. Everybody's kind of prepping for that. But one thing that I hosted last year was a readathon called the Comfy Cozy Readathon, and it's basically just a readathon to fully embrace the coziest month of the year. I'm hosting it right before Thanksgiving. I don't have the exact details yet, but it's kind of like a pick your own TBR type of situation. So if you're interested in that at all, you can definitely check it out on Patreon, but it's one of my favorite readathons. We just sprint together, we pick all the cozy fantasy and the cozy books, even read some holiday books. So if that's something you're interested in, again, I always have my Patreon linked in the description. We all just get excited for Christmas and Thanksgiving together. Next, I want to talk about two series that I have very much fallen short of. I was supposed to be finished with both of these over the summer, and that has not happened yet. I've been doing a Patreon read along for them, and life just got busy, but November is the perfect month to finally do the tandem read of Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms. I'm so excited. I'm also so nervous. There is just one character that I don't really understand why people dislike him, because I'm actually more invested in his timeline than Selena's at this point. So I think it's gonna be a very interesting time. I'm gonna tab up these books. That is a pretty big book. It's definitely close to like 1,500 something pages. I don't even know. This I'm hoping is going to be the highlight of my month. I'm going to be reading these before I pick up any holiday books. That is my goal. And then that way in December, I can end the year with Kingdom of Ash and just go out with a bang. I feel like it's going to be the perfect way to end my reading year. And this was my #1 goal for this year. So I'm already very proud of myself for getting this far. We're gonna do the thing, and if it takes me all month long and this is all that I read, I'm honestly gonna be happy with that. So all of you that have already read Throne of Glass, you already know what's ahead of me on this journey. I just know that I'm not prepared. This series is one of my all-time favorite series, and if you have not read it, please pick it up. What are you waiting for? Heir of Fire, I think, has been my favorite so far of the series. I absolutely loved it. We got introduced to so many new characters. I'm so excited to dive back into this world. It's going to be the perfect month, the coziest month to just end every night in bed with this perfect series. The next series that I'm so excited to be finishing up is Sabatihir's A Sky Beyond the Storm. We also were doing a read along for this over on my Patreon, and I fell behind once again. I have skipped a couple months, and so my memory is a little bit fuzzy on what's going to be happening in this book, but the audio is phenomenal. I am usually not someone that can just listen to a book. I have to be reading it physically because my attention span is like non-existent, but this book, I'm so excited to see what happens. I feel like this one's going to be even spookier than the rest of them. This is definitely going to wrap up my spooky season of reading very nicely, I feel like, and I don't know who's going to survive the storm. I am very scared. I don't know what's gonna happen. I know she loves to kill off her characters. This is just another book, another series that I can finally check off my long TBR. I've really been wanting to dive into this series, and I've been having a really fun time. I think the first book, or maybe the second book, has been my favorite so far, and I think it's gonna end up on my top 10 of the year for sure, and it's gonna be very satisfying to wrap up another series before the end of the year. Now, because November is the coziest month of the year, at least to me, this is the time of year when I'm craving that cozy, wintry type of fantasy. So I was browsing my shelves yesterday, and I was like, what is speaking to me? What do I feel like everybody loves? What have other people, you guys, told me that I would love? That's just going to hit perfectly for the month of November. So these next 3 books I feel like are going to be perfect. I've been really wanting to read these, but I think I'm going to be glad that I waited for this month. The first one is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. You guys are probably so sick and tired of hearing me talk about this book. It has been on so many TBRs, but I just know I'm gonna love it. And apparently the journal entries are dated all the way through, I think, December. I'm also seeing late November, and I think it starts in October. So I feel like, once again, this is the perfect middle ground for me to finally pick this up. I don't know much about it. It just says a curmudgeonly professor journeys to a small town in the far north to study fairy folklore and discovers dark magic, friendship, and love in this heartwarming and enchanting fantasy. I also know she's coming out with a book next year. I think that is like a cat cafe or like something that has to do with cats, and I was like, that looks like my perfect book. Absolutely. So I definitely want to read something else by her first because I feel like this was the first book of hers that really kind of blew up, and I do already own the second one. It is high time for me to get to this. I feel like this is the epitome of a cozy fantasy. Another author that I constantly see on Instagram, on YouTube, literally everywhere is Sarah Beth Durst. I didn't realize that this one was actually kind of wintry because when you open up the cover of this book, you see a wintry greenhouse. Words matter. The right words could heal shattered glass and hearts and families and lives. Are you kidding me? I don't know if I'm supposed to read this spell shop before I read this one. I feel like you can read them out of order and maybe there's just characters mentioned from each one. I'm gonna have to double check on that, but if you guys think I should read the spell shop first, I'm definitely not against that. I just feel like this one is perfect for November. So this is gonna be my first Sarah Beth Durst read. It says, elsewhere in the Empire, on a remote island brimming with singing flowers, honey cakes, and honeyed love. There's a library, cold of winter on a deserted island. There's even like some holly ivy on the inside of this, so it's definitely giving like holiday vibes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is gonna be absolutely perfect. I don't even really know what this is about or care what it's about. I'm just seeing cats with wings and tea, and I even saw some dragons. So I think this is gonna be the perfect little whimsical romantic read. And last for my cozy reads, I have a mixed kind of opinion about this author, mainly because I've loved one book by him and really did not like another book by him, which surprised me because Mistborn is one of his top books that everybody says to start with. I read Mistborn, I gave it like 2.5 stars and really have no desire to continue on with the series, but because this is a one-off book and I have had so many of my close friends, even friends that aren't like super avid readers, they have told me, Liv, you have to read this book. Like if I could associate you with a book, this would be one of them, which I find very interesting because I've had this book and I have not read it. Very little I know about it is that he wrote it for his wife. It's like The Princess Bride with pirates, and I feel like it's a little bit more low stakes. I even love the end papers to this. It's absolutely stunning. I really hope I have the time after the tandem read to get into this one. If not, I think it's probably going to be one of the first books I read next year. Alright, the last 2 books I want to talk about are holiday reads because I feel like I'm definitely going to be in the mood, like I said, around Thanksgiving to finally get into some Christmas reads. I have 2 books that I really want to prioritize that I've been very much waiting for. The first one is Holly by Adeline Grace. I just finished Wisteria 2 nights ago. Absolutely loved it, although it was my least favorite in the series, which I found very interesting. It just had a whole different vibe. There was not as many like spooky things that had to do with Cigna, but I'm not going to spoil too much because it's the 3rd in a series. But you are going to want to read that trilogy before you read this. So that was another reason why I went ahead and read Wisteria. But Wisteria I feel like would be perfect because it was actually wintry. So if you are like me and you need to read Wisteria still, I feel like November would be perfect. Anyways, this book I'm so excited about. It is absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at these end pages. It's so pretty, and each page has some type of banner, and then we also have a ton of illustrations which are just absolutely stunning. I'm obsessed. I think the US edition has red, but this is the UK edition because I have the UK editions of all the other books. So I'm not going to read the synopsis, obviously no spoilers here, but I do know that there is like a festive party or holiday season at, I think, Thorngrove Manor, or a manor that takes place in this book series, and there's some spirits that are trying to wreak havoc. I will say I hope, and I'm crossing my fingers, that this is not going to be another spectacular Stephanie Garber situation. I was so excited for that book last year. I flew through the Caraval series just to get to Spectacular and I hated it. So I really hope that doesn't happen with this series. I have so much confidence in Adeline Grace. She is so good at handling dark themes and topics well. And I'm really hoping for some very festive vibes because that's what we're going for. I don't necessarily want dark, but I think it's going to be an interesting mix. So I know a lot of us are excited about this one. So this is probably going to be my first holiday read that I dive into. And last, but definitely not least, I also have kind of an interesting relationship with B.K. Borison. This is Good Spirits. I read her Christmas Tree Farm book a few years ago and I really did not like it. But then I read her new, what is it, caller, first time caller, and I really enjoyed that one. I was like, all right, we're taking a gamble on this Owl Crate edition, but this is the prettiest holiday book I think I have ever seen in my life, you guys. We're just gonna take a minute to enjoy how beautiful this is. I mean, look at the naked cover. Have you seen anything more holiday? This is just so wow. I don't know who planned this or who designed this. It's absolutely perfect. I think my favorite part is the reversible dust jacket. How cute is that? He's the ghost of Christmas Past. She's not exactly Scrooge. Ghost of Christmas Past Nolan Callahan intends to spend his holiday haunting like every other. Get in, get out, return to his otherwise aimless existence as a ghost awaiting the afterlife. But when he's faced with Harriet York, the sweetest assignment he's ever had, he suddenly finds himself wishing for a future. Harriet York has no idea why she's being haunted. She's a good person, or at least she tries to be. A people pleaser to her core, she always does what's expected of her. But as she and Nolan begin to examine her past, they discover there are threads that bind them together and realize there might be more to moving on than expected. With the deadline of Christmas Eve fast approaching, will they find the key to their futures in each other's past, or will they stay firmly in the present, indulging in their unexpected, spirited connection? I love when romance books have some type of magical realism or fantasy element, and this takes place right before Christmas. I mean, what more could I want in a Christmas book? This just sounds so fun. It sounds like there's a mysterious element to it as well. I'm just very eager to start this absolutely beautiful book. A lot of us are excited for this one, and I'm even more excited that apparently I think it's going to be a series. Alright friends, well I definitely have the perfect mashup for this close to end of year TBR. I definitely am just working towards finishing up some series, a book club read, some cozy fantasy because that's my mood, and then of course holiday reads. I cannot resist a good holiday read. And do not worry, I definitely have a lot more recommendations coming your way in December. November is going to be a crazy month. I'm hoping to get through all of these, but if not, the tandem read is going to be my top priority. Before you leave this video, definitely let me know what your top priority read is for the month of November. Are you reading Christmas books already? Are you trying to finish up your Halloween spooky TBR? I definitely am curious what you guys are reading this time of year. But thank you so much for watching this video. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next one.